So if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by clicking on the PayPal link in the description box, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Also, leave us a thumbs up. It helps us get more views.
They think you're morons. They're coming after the press. They're bullies, and I'm proud to stand in the Second American Revolution against globalists that are 1,000 times worse than King George III, and we're winning. We're going to talk about it all, but joining us now from D.C. is Roger Stone. We have seen his former business partner, Manafort, who was the head of the Trump campaign, raided. Roger was the former first campaign head of the 2016 Trump election campaign. FBI conducted pre-dawn raid of former Trump campaign chairman Manafort's home. And what's amazing is the Washington Post admits he'd already turned over these very documents. So this is done, in my view, I haven't talked to Roger yet, for optics of, oh, look, a grand jury, indictment coming. Oh, see, they're criminals. Oh, raids. It's all done, SWAT team raids in the early morning. So you must have, it's kind of like they raid Amish for giving their neighbors cheese. They have a SWAT team and shove the old Amish man down on the ground when he didn't have a criminal record. His daddy's daddy didn't have one. Nobody's got a criminal record. But we're just going to shove you down in the mud on camera for the jury because the jury thinks, well, the FBI, the authority figure, shoved the Amish man down for giving his neighbor cheese that was an FBI informant. That's a real case. Manafort has voluntarily produced documents to congressional committees investigating Russia interference in the 2016 presidential election. The search warrant indicates investigators may have argued to a federal judge that they had reasonably Manafort could not be trusted to turn over all the records in response to a grand jury subpoena. Well, what if there are no documents? And that's why they had to do the raid, for optics, and they admit they've run into a brick wall. Now they're saying it's criminal. Was there any checks or did he lie on IRS forms? It's now a giant dragnet run out of the District of Columbia. The swamp has given birth to a grand jury with subpoenas going out. I'm told that I may be subpoenaed. I know the Federal Elections Commission wants me subpoenaed for my Russian funding. They're saying you buying our products are Russians. InfoWars contributor Roger Stone launching his own syndicated program coming up in early September, The War Room with Roger Stone, Mike Cernovich, and our own Owen Schroyer. You've heard my breakdown. Is it accurate? And give us your latest intel. Have you talked to Manafort? This was kept under wraps for a few weeks. Is it being brought out now to smokescreen for the fact that we have a Soros known operative now in General McMaster?
Well, Alex, your report is essentially correct. Jackbooted thugs authorized by Robert Mueller kicked down the front door of Manafort's home, proceeded to the bedroom, kicked down the door to the marital bedroom, seeking documents that they had never requested, mundane bank statements and documents that would certainly have been turned over. Now, Mr. Mueller is extremely well acquainted with the law firm that represents Manafort, but no request was registered. The reason for this raid is to distract from the fact that prosecutors in the Southern District of New York are now questioning close associates of Hillary Clinton and are seeking an interview with Hillary and her husband regarding the activities of the Clinton Foundation. Evidently, Jeff Sessions suddenly woke up. Somebody woke him up. And therefore, I think the Manafort raid is made to distract from the fact that justice may be about to catch up with the Clintons. There is nothing, I am told, in the records that were seized that is anything beyond the mundane. This is part and parcel of the Mueller effort to frame Donald Trump or his associates based on constructing a case which the Democrats, should they grab control of the House in 2018, would use as a phony basis for impeachment. That's the game that is afoot.
Expanding on that, is that breaking news dealing with Sessions beginning to go after Hillary herself?
It has been intimated on the net, but I have now confirmed from law enforcement sources in New York that there is definite movement, and I will have more to report at 2 p.m. Central Time today on InfoWars. I'm still gathering data on this and the latest on McMaster's coordination with George Soros and the Soros mole in the Trump White House, Fiona Hill. More on all of that later today on InfoWars.
Roger, this is like an action-adventure movie we're now living in with North Korea and the Clintons arming them, and now the Clintons still someone in power through this corrupt shadow state, battling the American people and President Trump. And the people, it seems, though, are seeing right through this. They're running all these new hoaxes that he's down in the polls, which our research shows isn't true. They're starting to abandon a lot of the Russian narrative, though, and are moving, as you predicted 6 months ago, to just general obstruction of anything, crimes, bounce checks, anybody in the government, having a government employee shine their shoes. I mean, just like with Netanyahu's wife for cell phone bills or whatever. It's now taking on classic dragnet, complete witch hunt run by people that Trump has fired that are on Mueller's staff.
Well, I think you're exactly right, Alex. The problem fundamentally is that the Obamas still run the U.S. Justice Department. In the recent trial of Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio, a key endorser of Donald Trump, the Justice Department monitored his communications with his attorneys during the trial. They communicated improperly with the judge during the trial. And all of this, of course, is payback for Sheriff Joe's support of Donald Trump and his claims that Barack Obama was not born in the United States, which he has sought to pursue. You would think that the Trump Justice Department would dismiss this case, but there is no one who works for Trump working at Justice other than Jeff Sessions, who very sadly appears to be asleep. I think he's asleep, actually. Instead of pursuing the Clintons, who certainly deserve to go to jail, we have the entire front line of the NSA under Barack Obama wiretapping and surveilling at least 30,000 people. Brennan knew, Rogers knew, Valerie Jarrett knew, Susan Rice knew, Ben Rhodes knew, but there's no one kicking in their doors at 5 o'clock in the morning and arresting them. Barack Obama is running the U.S. Justice Department under the Trump presidency. It's extraordinary and, frankly, quite sad.
And he's moved in down the block in a lavish armored compound with walls to run the operation. And before he left office, when President Trump was president-elect, Obama bragged, and his surrogates bragged, we're digging in. We're even putting more people in positions. We're even finding people that don't have a social history online that are our operatives, and they even put spies in. And as you said, even the New York Times now admits that they're out going to government employees to recruit them as moles. Some word is money's being paid. This is an espionage operation against our own government, and it just gets more intense, more serious as no one is punished, and more emboldened and more brazen. I mean, I've just never even imagined in a spy novel something this insane. So where's it going now?
Well, I think there's every possible effort being made to silence anyone who would expose what's going on. This lawsuit that Obama and his allies filed against me is an outrageous abusive process. It's a tissue of lies. And I would be unconcerned about it, except for it's going to be heard in the District of Columbia, where the chances of my getting a fair judge or a reasonable jury are non-existent. It's harassment. You see, Alex, if they can distract me and tie me up fighting this phony lawsuit, that's time and effort I can't spend trying to save the president from the cabal of globalists who have settled in around him. So I really think that's the goal. we are in for some very tough weeks ahead. Mueller has no concern for the law or the facts. He is hell-bent on taking down the president. And sadly, General Kelly, General McMaster, and perhaps General Mattis are prepared to sit back and let that happen.
Roger, clearly, if they're able to remove Trump, which I don't think they're going to be able to do if we stay on air and stay focused, they're going to go after everybody else. They're going to try to sew up the political system because they know they've lost the people entirely. The public knows that they've broken the social contract. And I like the fact that the president's really gotten tough on Sessions and they've reconciled now and that we're seeing some movement from him. But I agree with Congressman Chaffetz and others. I don't want press conferences. I want indictments. I mean, you've got Obama and his people on the news when President Trump was president-elect saying, we're going to sabotage, we're going to block, we're going to stop him, we've been spying on him, we're giving all the info to the media. And then Trump gets into office and goes, that's illegal. And they go, we never said that. And we've got hundreds of articles and statements where they said they did it. It's open and shut indictments. We think of espionage by some foreign power. This is the most common form of espionage is a coup, like we see in Latin America or Asia or Europe. Here, our coups are just more silent because we don't do that in the West. And it's a classic coup by deep state with comedy shows acting as news bullhorns out there cheerleading and even targeting you and myself for destruction, cutting off our sponsors, trying to put us in prison. I would expect that, you've talked about this, I would expect a SWAT team raid. I would expect you to get one because that's what they do. We've sat around. We went out on my ski boat a few weeks ago and we had the discussion over a beer. We said, I wonder when we get the SWAT team raid, because we know that then escalates into them killing us because first they want to demonize you as a criminal and then have somebody kill you, car wreck, or carjacking, whatever it is, or you're found dead with a hooker and, heroin. This is the kind of crap they do, assassinate your character ahead of actually killing you. So I just want everybody to know I'm not a loser if they kill me. I'm a winner. We change the world. And don't take my death as a loss. Take it as a martyr. Move forward. We are going to defeat these people. We are the winners. We are the free market. We are the Americans. We are the patriots. We are the underdogs. And we are winning. Roger Stone.
Alex, I say again, the key to the president's survival is the FISA court declaration at the end of the Obama administration, which indisputably proves that Obama's NSA was illegally surveilling up to 30,000 Americans, which include Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, Donald Trump, and in my opinion, Alex Jones. And General McMaster and General Kelly have worked very hard to keep the very existence of that report away from the president, because were he to order the prosecutions, his tormentors are defeated. Obama will have a hard time running the anti-Trump campaign from a prison cell. Instead, unfortunately, Attorney General Sessions is too busy chasing marijuana smokers and now chasing the Clintons. While I appreciate the sentiment, the Clintons are no longer running the Democratic Party. This is an Obama operation. The Clintons are a vague embarrassment to the Democrats. Yes, they should go to jail for their crimes, but there's plenty of time for that. Right now, they have to gut the centerpiece of the opposition, which is Obama. McMaster reports.
And if the president was really surrounded by hardline patriots like George Washington had, they would already have moved against these traitors who are openly in sedition against the republic and the American way of life. They are the opposite of the American way. They are the enemy, period.
Talking to patriots in Florida, they are planning to march on Mar-a-Lago the first time the president goes there to demand the firing of McMaster. They will line the motorcade route. They will make it very clear to the president that he is being misled, he is being lied to. McMaster works for Soros. McMaster reports to Soros. McMaster has inserted a Soros goon, Fiona Hill, and a fellow traveler neocon named Allison Nielsen. McMaster does not support the Trump agenda, but these things are being kept from the president. The president is unaware that General McMaster gave Susan Rice a pass on her political espionage. The president is unaware that he extended Susan Rice's national security clearance. The president is unaware that Samantha Powers, the UN ambassador, was unmasking hundreds of Republicans and engaging in political espionage in violation of the Constitution and the law.